Okay, welcome to ETN News. We're looking at the earthquakes, and you can see Hawaii on the slump has been getting some large activity, and around the island. And over in here, we've been getting activity. Okay, let's go on down. Now you can see right here, you see this darker spot? That means the crack wasn't opened up that much right through here, but over this way was. Now here a little bit ago we had a lot of activity right down through here, and this has to be updated before we could see the crack on down. Something had to crack. Then we got this, and we had activity over in this department here a little bit ago. So this one here, what'll happen is the earthquakes, once this breaks loose, we won't see any more activity here, so there'll be no warning. And one day, we'll wake up, we'll get a large quake or a 2.5 quake in one area. That's the only piece holding the whole chunk. And then the slump will break off. You can see it going on. You can see it happening. You can see it with your own eyes. Okay, now let's go look at Alaska. About all small activity. Let's see what we have. 2.5s. Not much going on. Small activity. Alright, now let's go on down here and check this out. Okay, get us a different view going on there. For some reason it lightens up right through here where it's the driest and hottest part. It lights up and it puts a blur in the camera and you can't see it. Alright, we've been having a lot of activity down through here the last few days. I mean a lot. Now, what I've explained before is the Pacific Plate. It comes over, North American Plate's pushing against it. When we see the pressure build up on this side and it's building, getting stressed, then that means either this side will go and have a large earthquake, or it will come over here on this side of Pacific Plate. One side has to give because it's crushing. The Pacific Plate is moving and it's pushing in over on this side of the Pacific Plate, and when it doesn't give over there, that's when we get our large activity over here. Now, you remember the last couple of years we've been talking about this. If it don't give over there, it's going to give over here. That's the Cascadia. So we got to keep an eye on it every time we get pressure build up. And we're having large activity. 4.9 Barstow. But alright, now the last update, we was calling for a 6.0 and maybe even a 7 plus if it kept building. Well, it kept building. It was looking like a 7 plus. And I know the 6.0 was going to hit because we could see that. Now, that was 3 to 5 days. What did we get in 3 to 5 days? Alright, here's what we got in 3 to 5 days. The next day, I said within the next 24 hours we should see some activity. And we did. I did not lead you wrong. 5.1, Texas. 2.0 miles deep. And then we had a 4.5 south of Bryan Head, Utah. 12.2 miles deep. And now we got a 4.9 east-northeast of Barstow, California. And the 6.0 that we was looking for to hit, it hit over here. 6.0, Tonga, 6.2 miles deep. So we did get our 6.0, and we got all this on top of that, not counting all the small quakes of where, in the last few days. That is a lot of quakes. And we even got a quake up here in Maine. And, there's quite a bit of activity. So we did get our 7 plus taking off, but it just shot toward the east, and I explained that on the update also, that some of the pressure could go toward the east. Well, some of it did go toward the east. But once it leaves this Cascadia, it can come down through here and it can fork off any route, hit any fault line through here. Or if it hits a certain area and it all don't want to move through, some of it will move over, across toward the east, some of it will come on down. The point is, we know that it's coming. And when we know that it's coming, if you live on a major fault, anywhere around the ring of fire, or over through here because the pressure is building at the Cascadia, then we know it's coming. I mean, that's the main point, is we know it's coming, and we can be prepared just in case if it hits your area, like a tornado, when they give warnings out for storms and tornadoes. The state of West Virginia, where I'm at, they'll say, warning, tornado. Does that mean it's going to hit your place? No, it could hit 50 miles away from your place. It's a warning. That means that it is in the area. It's moving through. So we got to be prepared when we see this occur. Now let's see what's going on today. Alright, we got these here. Let's zoom on in a little bit. A little too far. Alright, we got the 3.8 around Texas. That's where we had the 5.1 and a 3.2, 2.6 White City, Mexico, 3.0 Westbrook, Texas, 1.3 miles deep. That's pretty shallow. I'd say that one was felt. And a 2.7 Colton, California, 2.5 City of New Mexico, 2.7 Barstow, 2.6 Texas, and another 2.6 Texas, 2.7 Texas, and here's where we got Barstow, 4.9, and then the aftershocks is a 3.5 and 2.7. Now over here in Texas, where we had that large earthquake, we got to look at this. The last quake was a 5.1. The quake before that, a couple days before that, was a 4.9. So it went up. So that means that was a foreshock, the 5.1. They call that a foreshock. That means it gets bigger. And when you get in foreshocks, you don't know if you're going to get a bigger quake or not. It's a possibility to get a way larger quake. And that's why they call it a foreshock. And, well, that's something we'll talk about later. Okay, let me go on over here. Let's see what we got over here. And that's just a 5.3, southeast Florida to Islands. And let me check these real quick. See how deep they are, so we can, see what's going on, or what we got coming. Still getting the deep quakes around Tonga. 300. That's a 4.5, 305.8 miles deep. Alright, 4.5 south of Fiji Islands, 355.2 miles deep. So we're getting this occurring. We got all this going on up here. Alaska's not backing up yet, but before the day's out, we may see Alaska start backing up again, and before the day's out, we may see it build on up to a 6.0 or greater, maybe even a 7. And we had this earthquake up here in Greenland, and that one, rare quake, 5.1 eastern Greenland, 6.2 miles deep. And they're talking about Iceland is acting up again. I showed a hot spot that come right through the city down there on the southwest point. And there was a big old hot spot. Took up the whole city and out in the ocean a little bit here a while back. Nothing has occurred there yet, but that showed that it was a weak spot and something will occur. And where this is coming apart, Iceland is separating. It has to do something. Mid-Atlantic Ridge is still pushing both ways, pushing the North American plate over toward the Pacific. And when this is going, this side over here is going that way also. But one side is going faster than the other. And that puts pressure on this. So when we don't see a quake over here and we're expecting it, it hits over here. So either way, be prepared on the main faults. Now Canada is reporting a 3.4 southwest of Port Hardy, British Columbia. That's on the Cascadia. That's not good either. 1.5 reported shaking, Alberta. I don't know what's going on there. Reported shaking over this way, British Columbia. Alright, let's go check out the fire map and the anomalies. See what's going on that part. Just don't forget, it looks like the Cascadia may be building. If I put an update right after this update, YouTube don't put it out. They say you're too close. You have to be so far apart before they'll put the updates out there, notifications. Now this is, let me see what day this is, the 25th. And on the 25th, we had a hot spot right here on Kilauea that they didn't report. And that was on the 25th. Now over here is the anomalies. You see this darker red over here in California, Washington, Oregon, down into Texas. Watch this. This will go across. We're getting ready to go through here. Right now, 26th. You can see it move across. Now we'll go to the 27th. It's moving on over. 28th. On over further. This is coming on over this way. These anomalies are heat, or it wouldn't be showing up like this. And you know that heat causes storms, droughts, and much more. Now you can see how much this is coming across, and it's coming diagonally. It's not straight down, it's diagonally. And Florida is starting to get it down in here. We should, on the next image, we should see Florida. Like it's the 30th, alright? And then you can see Florida. Look how it's lit up down here now. You can see it move across with your own eyes. This is live satellites. This is heat signatures. Fires does not move. If it did, the whole United States would be nothing but ashes right now. A couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, when it started, when we started reporting this, and it started getting worse and worse. Now look how thick it is. Pretty soon, the east is going to be just as hot as the west. And there ain't no stopping it. Not unless things change. And I say it again like I always do, they're destroying our planet. Got to watch. Got to watch who we vote in. Put it that way. You got to watch. Be careful. Your children, your grandchildren, everyone has to live in this. We'll be gone, and if the world don't end that, by then, which it may do it, looks like it may do it, but they'll have to live in all this. It's not going to affect us. It will affect them. I want my boy to have a good life, not have to live in suffering. And another thing, if we don't watch our step, we're going to be a third world country. I went to the store in Pulaski County, Virginia, and that's not far from me. I couldn't even buy nothing hardly in the store. Why? We don't speak English. So what I got, I need some light bread, and they didn't know what I was talking about then, because they do call them loaves, but didn't speak English. Went to a motel place and asked, well, are you the one running the place? Because they was, taking out trash and stuff. I don't speak English. What happened in the old days when people couldn't work together because they couldn't speak the same language? There's nothing wrong with being here legally. But if I went over there, they would expect me to speak their language. I could not get a job there. I couldn't work. All of us don't know all these languages. All I know is English, and that's all I want to know, and that's all I'm going to know, because that's the way I was born and raised. English. We ain't even going to be able to work. You know, I mean, how are you going to work when you don't know what the other one is saying? Someone will get hurt. And when you do, I've had doctors to tell me stuff before, and I misunderstood them. I thought they said something else. Well, what if you're on a job and you think they say something else? Big explosion occurs or something. Watch who you vote for. Just a warning. You vote for them, we will have to live with it. The consequences. Everything has consequences. Just because you don't like a person, or just because you don't like the way they are, or the way they look, or the way they talk, like some people on my channel don't like the way I talk. It's not about that. It's about what's going on. It's about what they do. It's about what they, do for our country. It's not about if you don't like them or like them. Who cares about that? It's what they're going to do. What they're going to do when they get in office. Be very careful. We're walking on thin ice right now. I'll see you on the next updates. Everybody stay safe. And we'll be watching.